Alright, what you're looking at, or about to look at, is 4 minutes of painful, and I mean painful gameplay. As I always say before any recording like this is not my recording. What you're looking at is the gameplay itself. Look how awful this is. You can see my frame rate. I have the frame counter up on the top right corner of the screen there. It's the in-game frame counter. You can see where I am at right now. At one point, I think it even dropped down to 2 FPS. This is ridiculous. I cannot play Marvel Rivals as often as I was. And here I thought that after that winter update had been patched, you know, that patch following the winter update patch, the game was incredibly smooth. It was buttery smooth. And now, only up until probably 2 or 3 weeks, or I want to say 3 weeks before the Thing and Human Torch dropped, the gameplay went back to this. Thankfully, it's not just me experiencing all these issues. I've talked to a lot of players in game. They all have the same. A lot of them have the same thing. Their frames are crazy bad right now with how much stuttering this game is going through, and it looks to be stuttering issues, not latency issues. This definitely isn't lag. I mean, as you can see, I'm still trying to play as much as I can. You can see hit regs are all there. They're where they should be, so it's nothing latency issues. This is all stuttering. Now, I know that there's an unofficial mod out there that actually patches this, but that's a mod, and I don't want to be dealing with installing a mod that's specifically for performance issues and then have to go through the next update that the game comes around, and then it makes that mod obsolete. Then that mod has to get updated, and whether or not that leaves the game playable for me or not remains to be seen. But I don't want to. I'm almost tempted to download performance rate mod or whatever it's called over on Nexus, just so that way I can get some form of enjoyment out of Marvel Rivals. Because Christ, man, I can only do maybe one game, if that even is one game per day, without it stuttering like crazy. Now here you can see it starts to kind of smooth out a bit. But another thing I've noticed, a lot of these issues I've been having with my frame rate is Strange's portals. Whenever Doctor Strange drops a portal, whether it's an enemy Strange or an ally Strange, regardless, it's a portal, my frames are done. They are gone. Like, it's a secondary ability that Strange has where he'll crash your game or he'll freeze your game, and you'll be lucky enough to even stay in the game. There was one time where Strange had used a portal. I can't remember if it was an enemy Strange or an ally Strange. Either way, both sides had a Strange. A portal dropped, and my frames were so bad, it actually crashed my game. It kicked me out of the game, and I wasn't able to get back in for about 5 minutes or so. Obviously, it was too late for me to reconnect to that game, and I got hit with a penalty strike, so I wasn't able to play for about half an hour or so. I think it's a half hour for the first penalty, which really sucks because every time I've been disconnected from a game, it hasn't been because of a rage quit. It's because of the performance issues. That's how bad these frames are getting. Like I said earlier, I'm actually lucky enough to come across other players that are having this issue, which means it's not just me experiencing this. A lot of times when we get to starting a game, you know, the first 30 seconds or so, there's always someone going to be commenting, asking the rest of the lobby if someone else is having a whole bunch of stuttering issues. And there's always at least 2 to 3 players, myself included, that are coming across these same issues. I also thoroughly believe that these performance issues are so much worse than they were during the winter update. I think what's going on right now with the performance issues is cranked up to 11, or has been cranked up to 11, as opposed to the stuttering that I was experiencing during the winter update. That felt like maybe like a 4 out of 10. This is definitely a 15 out of 10. It is crazy. I've also talked to other players too. They apparently just restart their games just so they can play one extra game. More power to you if you aren't experiencing these performance issues. I know this is kind of a 50-50 type thing, so I'm happy for you, and just have fun playing the games. Be mindful that you'll probably be coming across players on your team who are having these issues. A lot of times when I have these issues, I'll let it be known to the team. And here, I was actually able to catch this recording. I just wanted to record this as a follow-up, because this was the follow-up game I tried to do after that terrible Thor gameplay. And again, you saw how bad the frames were. Here, you can see the frames aren't as bad, but they're still trickling in. It's still making it highly difficult to play hit scan hero, especially for me, who's a support main. My 2 support mains are Invisible Woman and Luna Snow, and now I'm trying to pick up Adam Warlock. Again, it's really difficult to play hit scan heroes, obviously, with the frame rate drops. And it's not just me. As you can see, someone in the chat here will quickly make a comment saying that his frames had dropped at some point. And here I try and make my same remarks. So I'm just hoping that this gets more notoriety than it does right now. I don't think this is as big of an issue for the devs, because if it was, this probably would have been patched, maybe like even as a hotfix or something. And I really want this fixed at some point, because I'm just one of those few players who probably can only get maybe one game a day out of it before it starts giving me all these issues. There have been a couple days where I can get maybe 3 to 4 games at a time, and they're buttery smooth as it should be. You know, I'm thoroughly able to actually enjoy myself and learn new heroes or whatever. Like here, you know, I'm learning Adam Warlock because, you know, I'm a support main, and I kind of want to get some more utility besides just using Invisible Woman and Luna Snow, who are now being banned a little bit more often, so I need to be a little bit more flexible with my heals. You know, I can't really enjoy competitive as much as I would like to because of how much more frequent these performance issues are. Ever since The Thing and Human Torch dropped, I've only touched competitive a handful of times. Frankly, when there were times where I was not having any FPS issues at all, no stuttering, game was smooth, I would have teammates though that were having those issues. They would let it be known in chat, or if they had a mic, like, hey, my game's stuttering a lot, I may or may not get disconnected, might not be able to play as often. So I've had plenty of players disconnect on my team, and it dropped me from 97 out of 100 Diamond 1, and I am now at low Diamond 3, and that really sucks. So, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to not only getting this hot fix, but, you know, maybe like a little rollback, put me back at Diamond 1 for all the trouble and pain I've had to go through with teammates constantly disconnecting. But I never get mad at my teammates. I'm not that type of person to rage at other teammates if they're not performing their job, or because I know that all of this is performance related. So whenever someone I'll have players on my team disconnect, but then try and reconnect, and then they'll apologize, and, you know, yeah, it's fine and all. At that point, I don't care if we win. I just want to be able to get through the game without having so many issues to deal with. Honestly, at this point, it's more of a win to actually just stay connected to the game if you manage to get disconnected and reconnect. That way, you know, you don't get hit with a lever penalty. That's the real win right there. That's the real battle a lot of us have when it comes to not winning or losing in ranked. But if you're playing ranked and you're having these stuttering issues, I think your real battle is not against the enemy team, it's against the performance issues and whether or not you're going to get disconnected. Obviously, that ends up screwing the rest of your team, especially if you lose a healer, your tank, or your DPS. Hell, I've had as many as 3 people, not at once, but 3 people throughout a game, all on my team, get disconnected. And many times 1, 2, or 3, sometimes not even any of them will reconnect, and just kills the entirety of the game for us. I'm not being facetious or sarcastic when I say that if you're able to enjoy this game without the stuttering issues, more power to you. Good for you that you can enjoy the game and play multiple games at once throughout the day and not have to worry about these issues. It's just always got to be mindful that you are going to come across players like me who are going to have these issues. Also expect it that you're going to be coming across these players more often in quick play like me. I can't really do competitive at the moment, so I'm relegating myself to quick play until then. Alright, that concludes my rant on this video. Bye.